They say your past defines you. But what if your past was a prison cell? What if the man the world once condemned? How did Marcus Reed go from inmate number 47,291 to being the go-to guy for the President of the United States? This is his incredible journey of transformation. It's a story of redemption, brilliance, and the relentless power of second chance. To understand where Marcus ended up, you have to understand where he started. He was a promising young student from Chicago, brilliant, sharp, and full of dreams. He aced his classes, devoured books on political science, and saw a future for himself working in government, shaping the country he loved. But life, as it so often does, had other plans. Growing up in a tough neighborhood, Marcus was surrounded by a world that felt designed to hold him back. He saw crime, he saw desperation, and he saw broken systems that failed the people they were supposed to serve. At just 19 years old, feeling the weight of the world on his shoulders, he made one terrible choice. A bank robbery, a desperate act that went horribly wrong. In a later interview, Marcus reflected on that moment. "I wasn't a criminal at heart," he said. "I was just desperate, and I thought crime was the only way out." The law didn't see his desperation, it saw his crime. The judge's gavel fell, and Marcus was sentenced to 12 years in a maximum security prison. The doors slammed shut, and his dreams were locked away with him. Inside those cold, gray walls, Marcus lost everything. He lost his freedom, his friends drifted away, and the world he once knew forgot him. The most devastating blow came when he learned his mother had passed away while he was still behind bars, unable to say goodbye. It was a pain so deep it could have broken any man. He hit rock bottom, staring at the four walls of his cell, a ghost of the young man he used to be. But in that darkness, a flicker of his old self remained. Instead of giving up, instead of letting the anger and despair consume him, Marcus began to read. Books became his escape, his salvation. He started with anything he could get his hands on, then moved to philosophy, law, economics, and politics. Day after day, year after year, he devoured knowledge. While his body was confined, his mind was breaking free. He wasn't just passing time. He was rebuilding himself, piece by piece, from the inside out. As Marcus transformed, he started to see his surroundings differently. He looked at the men around him, men the world had written off as irredeemable criminals. But he saw something else. He saw men who were more intelligent than some professors he'd known. Men with brilliant minds trapped by poverty, lack of education, and circumstance. He realized he wasn't alone in his potential. So, he started a small reading group in his cell block, sharing the books and ideas that were changing his own life. What started with a handful of inmates quickly grew. Within months, hundreds of men were joining in, debating philosophy, discussing economic theories, and dreaming of a life beyond the prison walls. They weren't just inmates anymore. They were students, thinkers, and for the first time in a long time, they were a community of hope. Marcus saw the potential for change, not just in himself, but in the entire system. Fueled by this newfound purpose, he began writing letters. He reached out to anyone who would listen. Politicians, activists, and journalists. He poured his experiences and insights onto paper, arguing passionately for criminal justice reform, for a system that focused on rehabilitation, not just punishment. Most of his letters were ignored, tossed aside as the ramblings of a convict. But one wasn't. A state senator named Elaine Porter, known for her progressive views, received one of Marcus's letters. She was moved by the raw intelligence and profound humanity in his words. This wasn't the letter of a hardened criminal. It was the letter of a visionary. Intrigued, she visited the prison to meet him in person. After their conversation, she told her staff, "I expected to meet a convict. What I met was a leader." Senator Porter became his champion. She fought for his case, highlighting his transformation and his potential to contribute to society. After 8 long years, Marcus Reed walked out of prison a free man. He had nothing to his name. No money, no formal degree, no home to return to, but he had something far more valuable. A fire-tested purpose. The world outside was daunting, but Marcus didn't waste a moment. He immediately started volunteering at a nonprofit dedicated to helping ex-convicts reintegrate into society. His insight was invaluable. He didn't just understand the prison system from a theoretical perspective, he had lived it. He knew the struggles, the fears, and the barriers that newly released individuals faced. He designed programs that worked, not because they followed a textbook, but because they were built on empathy and real-world experience. His work began to get noticed. His reputation as a powerful and authentic voice for reform grew. Universities invited him to speak. Government panels sought his consultation. Everywhere he went, his message was clear and resonated deeply with his audience. "You can't reform what you don't understand," he would say. "I've seen the inside, and I am telling you, people can change if you give them a chance." Years passed, and Senator Porter's career continued to ascend. When she decided to run for President of the United States, she never forgot the brilliant, passionate man she had met behind bars. During her campaign, she made a personal phone call. "Marcus," she said, "I'm building a team to change this country. I need someone who truly understands the people I want to help. Come, work with me." And just like that, the unimaginable happened. Marcus Reed, inmate number 47,291, the man once labeled a felon and a failure, became a policy advisor to the President of the United States. He walked the halls of the White House, the very institution he had once studied from a prison cell. He was put in charge of the issues closest to his heart: prison reform, educational access for underserved communities, and rebuilding the broken systems he had once been a victim of. Today, Marcus Reed is more than just a name on a White House directory. He's a living symbol of hope. He frequently visits prisons, not as a cautionary tale, but as an inspiration. He stands in front of young inmates, many of whom see themselves in his story, and shows them what they thought was lost forever: a future. "Your mistakes don't define you," he tells them, his voice echoing with the weight of his own journey. "Your choices, after them, do." His journey is a powerful reminder that redemption is real, that no life is beyond repair, and that true strength is forged in the fires of adversity. It proves that sometimes the people who fall the hardest are the ones who learn how to rise the highest. From a prison cell to the White House, not because he was lucky, but because he found the courage to rebuild himself and refused to stay broken. This isn't just Marcus Reed's story. It's a reminder to all of us that the greatest walls we will ever face aren't made of concrete and steel. They're the ones we build inside our own minds. Thank you for watching. If this story touched your heart, give it a like, share it, write a comment, and subscribe for more inspiring content. Catch you next time.